Hi everyone. This is the CRS podcast. Welcome again. I'm Nicole. This is my co-host.
Hey.
Hi, my name's Aaliyah. And today we have a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I just interrupted you a second ago, but yeah, I'm Derry. Lovely to be on here. Thank you.
Okay.
Would you just like to explain a bit about what you do before we get started into our questions?
Yeah, cool. So I'm sort of at the moment, because of the current climate, sort of doing a lot of different things. Like I teach 2 days a week at Confetti. I teach practical lessons there, and then like 4 days a week, I'm a freelance filmmaker, and that varies from editor, producer, costume design at the moment, and then set design as well. So uh, a lot of stuff at the moment. Jack of all trades, master of none, pretty much.
Cool. So first thing we really wanted to get into was your film directing. So what do you think, in your opinion, are the most important qualities of a film director?
Yeah, I think empathy is number one. So as a film director, you need to empathize completely with every character in your film, in your scene. Secondly, I think there's this sort of misconstrued sort of myth that the director has to like stamp their authority on everything. Actually, the best directors are the ones that work with everyone on set and like consume loads of different ideas from everyone on set. So I think you need to be a listener, a really, really strong listener, um, and just understand people as well. So I think when you give direction to an actor, it's best to give the direction as briefly as you can, but get to the point. So you need to understand where they're coming from. So yeah, empathy and understanding are the main two features, I'd say.
Okay. So you're a teacher and you teach, film and stuff like that. So in your opinion, how would someone who, doesn't want to go to film school or can't get into the film industry?
Yeah. So I think like in terms of film school, all film school is an opportunity to have free equipment. Well, not free because you have to pay for it, but it's there. Yeah. You have to pay to go to film school most of the time. Sometimes you get like scholarships and stuff. So the access to equipment, and you have peers who are also willing to work on your films for free. Yeah. So and then you have a mentor. So all film school is equipment, peers, mentor. If you can't go to film school, you have to figure out a way of getting those three things without that. I've never been able to afford any equipment throughout my life until like now. Like I've never had access to it. I've had to befriend other people who have access to it because it's expensive. In terms of mentor, you can find one of them. You just have to speak to a lot of people, like meet up at networking events and stuff. Good ones, not shite networking events. There's a lot of them, and just find someone who's got experience and chat to them. So what I'd say, if you can't go to film school, just try and find a mentor. Try and hook up mates with equipment. So if you have any rich mates, just like go, oh man, do you want to buy a camera for like this much? Get them to borrow money from their rich parents, and then yeah, that's it really. I don't think film school is a be all and end all. I think there's so many film directors that didn't go to film school, and they spent that time instead of going to film school, they spent that time making films.
Okay.
So it could be helpful, but I don't think it's a be all and end all. I think just making stuff is the most important thing. That is film school, isn't it? Making stuff.
Yeah.
So you've got some Irish heritage. Do you ever let that influence your work?
Yeah, I mean, like I was thinking of this, and I'm not even going to pretend that you didn't send the questions before. You did, and I had a look at them. So I've sort of prepared myself to answer this. And it's funny because like when I was younger, I used to get like I would be an outcast because I'm Irish. Like it's sort of like pikey this or whatever. So I have all the sort of the traits of Irishness without any of the good traits. I don't have the accent. I have like the bad traits. I have the alcoholism. I have like the stoicism and all of this stuff, but not the accent and not the charisma. So it's kind of like I'm at war with it in a way, because I am without a doubt Irish, but you wouldn't necessarily know that speaking to me. So for me, that's it. For me, it's like everything I make, it's like a battle with identity. So when I'm writing a story, a lot of the time I've noticed the lead characters are constantly battling what their true identity is, because it's obviously fascinates me, right?
Okay.
And it's also a case of like Irish people love the underdog. They love to pretend they are the underdog in every situation, but they also love the underdog. Like the most popular films in Ireland are always about underdogs trying to achieve, yeah. And they don't like the powers that be, aka English people. So it's like for me, it's always like sort of writing stories about the underdog, writing stories about someone trying to find their identity, and that just comes naturally. So even if I didn't want it to be part of this, the story I'm writing, it's going to be a part of it anyway. And I like the idea of supporting the underdog in everything that I write, and that's an Irish trait as well. So yeah, it's a subconscious thing more than anything.
Okay. So do you think like in the all of your work, do you want to like, kind of put a bit of you like the Irishness in it?
Yeah, big time, big time. Like it has to, because I think if you want to become a writer or like a writer director, you need to put a bit of yourself, because otherwise the market's so convoluted with so many different people who are like better than me.
Mm.
So the only way I'm going to stand out is if I literally like make it like my perspective, because no one else has that. So it's like, this is my perspective. Yeah. So most of the characters I've written are me, different forms of me. Some of them are like characters that might say things I wish I said. Some characters are like sexier versions of me. You know what I mean? Or characters are like they've got like like the dark side, which I wouldn't, say out loud, but in my head I'm thinking that kind of thing. So I just put that on a film, and it's all good.
Okay.
So yeah, I think, and it's the best way to write or direct as well. If you think like from your perspective, and if it feels natural, it's really useful. Yeah.
Okay. Another question. So the film industry, so Hollywood, really big, biggest there is, I think. There is a clear difference between, the UK film industry and the US film industry. Why is there such a big difference? And like you don't see a lot of hype around UK films in America, but you'll see American films really big here.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because a lot of the American films are shot here. So like all of the Marvel stuff, they film it in England and in the UK because of tax reasons. Yeah. So, and some of them even class as British films. And then occasionally you get something like 1917. I don't know if you've seen it, but that was a British film and it did really well at the Oscars and all of that stuff. But you're right, there's a huge like difference between like a UK film and then like a US film. And to be honest, UK film needs to be more diverse, not in terms of like representation, but in terms of like stories. Because how many times have we watched a British like kitchen sink drama? Like there's only so many you can watch. I love Ken Loach. I don't know if you know him, but he's basically king of British kitchen sink. He made I, Daniel Blake. He's made Cares. Like I've met him. He's really, really, really great filmmaker. But I've had enough of that like continuous sort of bleak like Britishness.
Yeah.
There was a film came out last year called Rocks, and it's on Netflix. That's the kind of films I'd like to see more of it, even though it is sort of bleak and British. it's coming at it from a different perspective, and it's really quite vibrant. But I think the main issue between like the main difference between USA films, UK films is just there's a huge infrastructure based like around like the Hollywood blockbuster,
Mm.
and that is an American identity. The Hollywood blockbuster is a British blockbuster just wouldn't sell because the lead actors will have bad teeth. The like it just won't look shiny and glossed up like it does in America.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, like Americans are like phony, aren't they? They're all fake. So they can all buy into this sort of dream-like fantasy of this Hollywood world.
Mm.
So they'd be willing to drop like 200 million on a film. And British film industry just can't do that. So, but yeah, I think British film needs to diversify a little bit more in their stories.
Definitely. Yeah.
So like many other industries, the film industry is very male dominated. Why don't we see more female directors in the mainstream?
Yeah, so this is interesting. I think it might be down to like throughout history, we as people have sort of seen leaders, directors, managers as a patriarchal job. We've always thought, yeah, the man will get it done. There's a sense of like, in some situations, men do not take kindly to being told what to do by a woman, which is obviously just daft, isn't it? But that's just the way it is with some people. That's changing now. And it's good to see, like, I've got a list here actually. So most of the films I've really liked over the last few years have been directed by women. And that's just by chance. I'm not trying to show off and say that, but there's directors like Lulu Wang, Matty Diop, Mario Heller, Kelly Reichardt, Lorraine Scafaria, Sarah Gavron, Gurunda Chadha. They're all producing like really amazing films, but they're not mainstream names yet, like Scorsese or Spike Lee. It's just a matter of time until they are. So like with anything, now it's become like more, well, acceptable is not the right word. It's become like a thing where if a female does direct a film, it's not like, oh wow, look, a female directed this film and it turned out actually all right. It's more like, yeah, there isn't really a difference here. It's just another perspective. So it's just a matter of time until them names that I just read out are gonna become like the Spike Lee and the Scorsese's. You know, just got to catch up a little bit, and we need to push like proper female filmmakers. We don't just need to put like female filmmaker. We don't need to like say, right, this next Marvel film is going to be directed by a woman just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
There's many female filmmakers out there who can do quality work that don't need to rely on a franchise. It's not a bad thing though, because it's like giving them the opportunity.
Yeah.
But I think it's going in the right direction. In a few years, we'll be like recognizing names of female filmmakers much more.
Hopefully our generation, so mine and Aaliyah's, the women kind of step up a bit more.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you just got to, all you got to do is just come up with them great ideas, and then hopefully you'll get it. Yeah.
I do think. Sorry.
What I was going to say is like it is interesting, like the perspectives that are coming out of sort of from the female perspective, and it's more about a female body that we've ever seen previously in mainstream cinema, and more about like the female experience. Like Hustlers. Have you seen Hustlers?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great film. I thought that was wicked, and what I really liked about it was we've seen so many of these mobster films like Goodfellas and like all of this stuff. This was like a female orientated mobster film, and it was just refreshing to see. And I like that they were like characters without remorse committing like horrible things, but it's still like really entertaining. Yeah,
it was quite fun. It was a good movie.
Yeah,
I did enjoy it.
Definitely on my lockdown list.
Well, okay. I'm not quite sure. I'm pretty sure. So Derry is my teacher, and I'm pretty sure you have told us how long you have been in the industry. But I'm not gonna lie. It's a Monday morning or whatever. I'm not paying attention that well. But I don't know how long you've been in the industry, but I'm pretty sure you have a lot of good stories or fun or your favorite stories that you have.
Yeah, so I've been in the industry probably, I'd say, like pushing 10 years, because when I was 19, I started a film festival, Broadway Cinema
Oh,
in, yeah, so I did that for like 2 years. We did like short film screenings, which was really good because I got to see loads of short films. It got like a lot of people submitting from around the country. It was really cool. And that was like a sort of a training up period, because I could see like loads of bad short films and loads of good ones as well. More bad ones than good ones. But yeah, so no, there's one story, but I won't mention any names. But we were filming in a very sort of expensive building in Nottingham, which has been around for a long time. And and we were filming an action scene in there. And in the scene, we were using sort of real weaponry. We had an armorer on set and everything, and they were firing blanks. But when you fire a blank, like it lets off like a very loud sound, very loud. And we had about, I think for one scene, we had about 15 like pistols being used in the scene, all firing at once. And the ceiling in this building, which is very old, very expensive, very well established in the city, is made of glass. So, so when we were filming this, it was like action, bang, 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 and the lady that sort of allowed us to film there didn't. I don't think she really understood what we were doing, and I don't think she understood the loud, like the noises that the guns would make. So she legged it out. She's like, "The Bruce made us that glass. He could break any time." And next to the building we were filming in was a calf, and they heard the pistols like firing off in this calf, and they legged it out of the calf like loads. It was like it was like a calf that was sort of old people like dominated, and they heard bang bang bang, and they legged it out of the calf like knocking over tables and chairs and everything. And I had to go in there and I'm so sorry, yeah, yeah. It was just we just weren't prepared for it. Um, we didn't let enough people know what the situation was and all of that. So, but turned out all right. The ceiling didn't smash. But what was funny, so the lady came in, she goes, you can't do this, the ceiling will smash. And the producer had to sign paperwork, yeah, saying if the ceiling smashes, I'm liable for it. And the cost of that would have been like 18 million pounds. Yeah. So he had to sign it there and then. Which is just stupid. Yeah. It's a stupid thing to do.
money. Wow,
I know.
that's crazy.
I know. It's just not worth it, is it?
Oh my gosh,
That film went
today.
it went on to Netflix, so that film did.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, it did. It was on Netflix until November. And it did pretty well. It went on like sale on DVD all around the world. I'm not going to say what the film is because then everyone will figure it. I'll tell you what the film is, but I just won't say it on there.
That's
That's quite funny. I can imagine all the old people just scared running away.
Yeah, like one of the tablecloths was like dragged across the floor with like cakes like smushed into it. So like the door was like it looked like there was a red carpet made of tablecloths, but with smushed cakes.
oh no.
It was really funny.
Just imagine
But
if the glass broke.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
I would have ran out of there as fast as I can. You would have not like I would have seen the glass break and I would have gone, oh shit, and I'd just legged it and never looked back. Whatever happened in that building after I left, I would just not be bothered about.
Yes,
I'm gone.
your business even there.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
That's
sorry,
quite funny.
it's not my problem.
yeah. This is why I would advise anyone to do like risk assessments and all of that stuff, because then you got
See
yourself.
why. I see why you guys, when you say do the risk assessments. Okay, now I understand.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So,
I'll expand in the future.
so students like Nicole, what surprising thing what things would surprise them about you?
Yeah, I don't know. In fact, I suppose this might be surprising, but maybe not. I used to box, so I had like when I was um, like 19 to 21, I had 3 fights, and I lost one and a half of them. And
What can you be
yeah, yeah. So I used to box. I used to take it really seriously as well. I used to train like 3 times a week. I used to run like maybe 100 miles a week,
Wow.
and yeah, took it really seriously. Then I got bopped on my nose too hard once. I was like, I'm never doing this again. Never doing this again. And the and I don't know why I did it either. I think I was just going through like a machismo phase of being like, yeah, but boxing's cool. I think every sort of
Mm.
man at some point thinks they might entertain the idea of boxing.
Yeah.
But I got absolutely battered in the third fight. It's kind of embarrassing thinking about it now.
I mean, I
But
because you see, you're quite mellow as a teacher. You're quite calm. So I don't know if you'd be into, like boxing.
yeah, well that's it. Yeah, I don't think anyone really thinks that about me, and I think also I don't think it makes sense that I did it anyway. But it did happen, and it's good. And I've still got all the sort of the steps and all the moves and stuff. And every now and then, I'll when I need to need to like take it out on something, I'll get my punching bag out and I'll still just like
Yeah.
I've basically got, this is funny. I got a washing bag, which if you stuff, it's a punching bag, yeah, but it's a washing bag. You just stuff it with clothes and then you hang it up and it turns into a punching bag. I got that in my house,
You said
so that's surprising.
you said you lost 1.5 fights. How did you lose half a fight?
I know, yeah, that was meant to be a joke because I think I won the second fight, but actually I lost it. So I lost 2 fights. I lost 2 out of 3 fights. But the funny thing is, more than anything, I think I won the first fight quite comfortably, and I thought, and so did the guy that was training us all. Thought, okay, he might be all right. He might be able to do well against like heavier fighters.
Mm.
And so the second fight they put me against someone I should just not have fought. And then the third one was just a mistake. But it wasn't too bad. It was only like 5 rounds, not like a 12 round thing. And yeah, we had like pads on and everything, so it wasn't too bad. But I don't like hitting people in the face either. I don't like being hit in the face, and I don't like hitting people in the face. So I don't know why I did it.
I mean,
It took 2 years out of my life though.
it's a very dangerous sport.
Say that again.
It's a very dangerous
Yeah, it
sport.
is. Yeah.
You can really get hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Well, I used to play rugby as well. And so,
Even dangerous.
like,
Even
I
worse.
know I don't look like a rugby player, but I did play rugby for like 4 years. I probably got a number of concussions from both them sports, but we'll see when I'm older. Got some senile. Yeah. That's yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, I don't know if that's surprising. A lot of people would be like, yeah, well, he's Irish, so of course he boxed. It's sort of like uh, a lot of. I think it's sort of a stereotype that all Irish people box. It's quite funny.
I mean, if I told any of, the friends from college, people you teach, I don't think they would have, kind of guessed that you'd do that. I think they would be quite shocked.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Well, I'm putting on an act at college because I think every teacher does. Don't tell them I said that, but it's just the way it is.
So Derry at college, he's a very calm and collected teacher. He doesn't really get angry at anyone. It's very nice. So all of it's an act.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And then when I'm on set, on set, I'm just like a power hungry egomaniac who's just shouting at runners,
Were you
telling them
bad?
to make sure my coffee has to be 52 degrees.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's all good. I know that, you know, COVID's around. I personally don't think it's going to go anywhere anytime soon, but
Yeah.
I've, especially in the film industry, it's quite difficult to see where, you know, you're going to go in the future. It's just kind of blurry. But what are your like future plans?
Yeah, so I've I don't want to end up doing this, but I'm a trained COVID marshal now. So I got that training done just in case. So if I need to get like on set and do the COVID stuff, I could do that and I'll get like paid for that. But in terms of future, like so at the moment, like I said, I teach 2 days a week and then I work like 4 days a week doing freelance stuff. That's mostly editing and producing and directing. And that's like that'll be corporate video mainly, and then music videos. And then I'm also working on other stuff. So there's a feature film that I'm producing for an actor, Mark Davenport, and that's really low budget. But there is a budget, and it is going to be a feature film, and it's going to be good, but it's just going to be really, really low budget. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. If that goes well, that's great. There's also a TV series that I'm writing, which is about a bunch of like young Catholic nuns, and that if that takes off, that's great as well. There's some people that are connected with that. Hopefully, we'll get some money. Hopefully, it just gets on like something like BBC Three. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with either of them. If they, say that again, sorry.
Is it a comedy?
Yeah, it's a comedy. Yeah, yeah. It's about like so apparently like a lot of young women are joining the convent. Yeah. So like there's more young nuns now than there has been for 100 years or something. And I want to know why that is. So I think it's sort of down to like simplicity of it. Maybe it's like the life of like the nun takes away any sort of fear of progress or whatever. But I'm not sure. So I was figuring it out. But yeah, it is funny.
There's a
And it's
movie
set in
with young nuns. It's I don't know if you've seen it. It's with Dave Franco, but it's about nuns, and it's honestly it's one of the funniest movies I've actually watched.
what's that called?
I don't remember the name of it, but Dave Franco and his wife are in the movie.
Oh, what, Alison Brie?
Yeah, no, Alison. Yeah, and they're both in it, and there's some other people, and it's all about nuns and like really like olden times. Very funny.
Wicked. I'll check it out.
It's a
Oh
good.
yeah, in fact, yeah, it sounds familiar now. Actually, I think I saw that.
I do
Well, I
like.
haven't seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll check it out for sure. Yeah, there's loads of stuff made about nuns and Sister Act. I love Sister Act too. But I think like there is a chance for making a TV series, like a British sort of based one. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, in fact, like in terms of like the future, I think so. Those two projects, and there are other things that I have like in the pipeline. It's all about just whether it takes off or not. So I think with most people, um, it's about like working on stuff, trying to like collect a bunch of people that can get involved in it, trying to get funding from somewhere, and then getting it going. But I think a lot of the work is happening in London and Manchester. To be honest, like Nottingham's sort of there's a threshold that you can't really pass. So, but yeah, I'm hopeful something will happen.
Okay, good.
I think
I
that's
mean, we don't. I don't have any more questions prepared, but Elia, do you have any more questions? Oh, I do have one for me personally. So I see I do study at Confetti, but I do want to move on and specialize into editing. Um, so you said you mostly do like editing, right? When you think is it how do you go about even like finding jobs? Because you do it freelance.
Yeah. So it would literally be like, has Nicole dropped off there? Or is... Oh yeah, something cut off there, but it's all right. I'll start again. Yeah, so basically how I got a job was I made like a show reel, which could be of any random stuff, as long as it looks really good, as long as you use some like up-to-date sort of editing techniques that you see in like promos and adverts online.
Yeah.
Make one of them and then send it to every production agency in like your city.
Okay.
So at the moment, I work for a production agency called Simply Thrilled, which are Nottingham based, but there's a number of Nottingham based production agencies, and you can get paid to do like editing for like corporate stuff. Like my day rates are 200 to 250 per day, and then I'll probably do like, I don't know, if you're doing a 2-minute video, it could be 3 days. So that's like up to 600 plus pounds or whatever. And then if you get like 2 or 3 of them a month, you're all right.
Yeah.
I think I'd say first of all, get a show reel together and then just send it out and just say, look, I'm new to editing. This is my show reel. This is what I can do. If you need any work, here are my rates, and then look at the production rates online and just negotiate with them. Because a lot of the time, production agencies just need editors. So if they have a contact, they'll just contact you and they go, "Can you do this?"
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it. But you're not. It's tough because at first you're not really gonna get paid to edit anything like interesting, like a music video
Yeah.
or a short film or a feature. You're not really gonna get a chance to do that immediately. But you might get a chance to edit like a talking head video, which is boring, but it gets you somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's the idea. But I'd say just get skilled up, try your best to get familiar with all like modern editing. Like look at the Weeknd's music videos, see how they're edited. Look at like stuff like Gets Mozambique. That's like the way that's edited and the techniques that you use in that video are really interesting. So I think it's just a case of like getting up to date with that. That's the advice I give. Yeah,
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the advice, and I hope everyone
yeah,
else who wants to go into editing does as well.
all good.
But yeah, we don't really have any more questions, but what you've answered really well. I really enjoyed today's podcast, actually.
Even though I'm not like a film head or anything, I think it's been really cool and interesting to understand about the film.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that's cool.
I will
Thanks.
probably make you come on to it again to talk about other stuff in the future.
Cool.
You know, people watch it, especially people for confetti. They're probably gonna want to know more and see more.
Okay, that's cool.
But
That's cool. Yeah, yeah, I'm up for doing it whenever. Just shout me.
thank you so much for coming on today.
You.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And okay, so I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.